Welcome, fellow owls, to a journey into the complex tapestry of medieval Northeast Africa. Today we track the turbulent, often contradictory life of Umar Johnson, a figure whose story illuminates the intricate dance of ambition, faith, intellect, and survival in a fragmented world. Forget kings, counts, dukes, born to the purple. Umar began without inherited power or lands. His assets were internal, a fierce, burning ambition that drove him relentlessly. A mastermind philosopher's intellect, capable of intricate analysis and deep thought. Remarkable physical health, a vital shield against the era's pervasive dangers, and the guiding, sometimes conflicting principles of his Ash'ari Muslim faith. His initial path seemed clear: scholarship, a natural fit for his philosophical mind. In the bustling intellectual centers, or perhaps the quieter monastic settings, Umar likely immersed himself in Islamic jurisprudence, theology, logic, perhaps even mathematics and astronomy. Knowledge valued not just for its own sake, but as a tool for administration and influence. He might have debated interpretations of the Quran, studied the works of Al-Ghazali, and honed the rhetorical skills necessary for persuasion and leadership. This period likely shaped his worldview, providing him with analytical frameworks and a deep understanding of religious doctrine, tools he would later wield for far more worldly aims. But pure scholarship fairly fills empty coffers and grants worldly powers. Umar leveraged that intellect practically. An early commission saw him undertake a demanding manuscript job, crafting a detailed wealth book, perhaps an accounting ledger, a treatise on an economic management, or even a guide to profitable trade routes for a local client. This required not just literacy, but numeracy, organizational skills, and discretion. His meticulous work paid off. The client was satisfied, a small victory, yes, but one that showcased his tangible abilities and perhaps provided crucial seed money. Life in this era, however, was seldom confined to the quiet study of careful accounting. Conflict was endemic. Umar found himself facing the prospect of a formal duel, a potentially lethal affair governed by codes of honor. Perhaps an insult was given, a debt disputed, or a rivalry escalated, but Umar, ever the pragmatist, chose a different path. He bypassed the ritual and risk, opting for brutal efficiency. He trampled his opponent. This act, while avoiding the immediate dangers of the duel, spoke volumes. It demonstrated a ruthless streak, a willingness to defy convention for self-preservation, potentially earning him fear, but certainly not respect in traditional circles. Ambition requires followers, resources, access. Umar sought recruits in a local tavern, a common group for mercenaries, travels, and malcontents. He likely presented his vision, offered promises, and assessed potential hires, but his pitch fell flat. None found his cause compelling enough, or perhaps his reputation was already questionable. Undeterred, needing entry into restricted areas or access to guarded information, he resorted to cruder methods. He confronted an obstacle, a guard, an official, reluctant and florid, and used intimidation threats to force compliance. These early actions paint a complex picture, a man capable of refined intellectual work, yet equally willing to employ brute force and coercion when expedient. Then came the audacious gamble, the scheme that could make or break him, a sophisticated confidence trick. An elaborate fraud targeted a man of local power, the chieftain Maui. This was no impulsive act. Umar, the mastermind, applied his intellect to deception. Weeks, perhaps months, were spent in meticulous planning. He gathered intelligence, his habits, his wealth, his potential weaknesses, his advisors. He built up his small camp, carefully selecting individuals with specific skill needed for the plot. Perhaps a smooth talker, someone skilled in forgery. A lookout for such qualified people formed the core of this operation. He cultivated an image, perhaps leveraging his scholarly background to appear trustworthy or wise. He even gained many strengths and perks at the time, enhancing his aura as a potential religious icon. Maybe he became known for piety, perhaps it was a calculated performance. He grew out his beard, adding to the gravitas. Every detail was considered. The odds based on his intelligence and planning seemed favorable. Confidence surged, the potential payoff, wealth, influence, a springboard to greater things seemed within reach. The tension, the setup must have been immense, every interaction fraught with risk. He executed the plan, and it imploded. Massively, utterly. A fatal flaw in planning? A betrayal from within his carefully chosen retinue? Or did Chieftain Maui just prove shrewder than anticipated? The specifics are lost, but the result was catastrophic. Exposed, humiliated, his scheme shattered, his success evaporated against the harsh reality of failure. The psychological blow for a man priding himself on intellect must have been devastating. Instead of riches, Umar earned infamy. Forced to flee, his reputation was not merely tarnished, but destroyed in the region. The label gallows bait became indelibly linked to his name. Cast out, resources dwindling, reputation ruined. Many would have broken, but Umar's ambition, though battered, still burned. Survival required resources immediately. Driven by desperation, he committed a grim, sacrilegious act. He located and robbed a grave. Was it the tomb of a wealthy individual marked by ostentatious monument, or a simpler grave chosen out of sheer necessity? We don't know those details, but violating the sanctity of the dead, a profound taboo, speaks to the depths of his desperation. It provided the means to continue, but surely weighed on his conscience, a dark secret underpinning his subsequent path. Yet in the turbulent aftermath of failure and transgression, a strange and pivotal event occurred. Umar found himself drawn to a significant ancient tree, perhaps a place long held by sacred local traditions, a locus of spiritual energy. There in solitude, reflecting on his ambition, his failures, his sins, he experienced a profound spiritual connection. He communed with Allah, finding solace, guidance, and perhaps a reinterpretation of his destiny. This intense experience led him to being recognized, at least by some, as a holy man. Paradoxically emerging from fraud and grave robbing, his Ash'ari faith wasn't extinguished, it was strengthened, forged anew in the crucible of desperation and a perceived divine encounter. Did he see his survival as proof of purpose? Did failure strip away worldly illusions, leaving only his faith? This complex interplay of sin, desperation, and general spiritual awakening became a defining characteristic of Umar's journey. With renewed complex faith and perhaps the grimly acquired funds from the grave, Umar traveled onward, seeking new horizons where his past might be unknown. He eventually found himself in the diverse, often volatile lands of the subcontinent. Here he began to rebuild, applying his talents constructively. An opportunity arose. Architect work for a different chieftain, designing fortifications, overseeing the construction of mosque residences. This practical application of his intellects marked a shift away from schemes towards tangible contributions. But the shadows of his failed fraud lingered, perhaps fueling a powerful drive for redemption. Umar embarked on a long, arduous quest, moving methodically from village to village across the region. His mission, tackling endemic corruption. He used his sharp mind not for deception, but for investigation, analyzing tax records, uncovering embezzlement, exposing bribery, bringing corrupt officials to justice. Was he haunted by his own past attempt at illicit gain? Did rectifying the wrongs of others feel like penance? That failure, it seems, had paradoxically focused his ambition. It wasn't just about personal gain anymore. It was about imposing order, demonstrating righteousness, perhaps convincing himself of his own reformed character. His reputation for competence, piety, and fairness began to open doors previously slammed shut. A delicate, high-profile task came his way, soliciting charity, gathering alms not for himself or for his community, but for the local negus, the Christian ruler of the region. Imagine the tightrope walk. Umar, the Ash'ari Muslim holy man, appealing for funds to support the Coptic Christian establishment. This required immense diplomatic skills, navigating potential suspicion from both Muslim donors and Christian recipients. He had to leverage his religious standing, carefully emphasizing shared values of charity and piety, while assuring donors the funds would be used appropriately. Successfully completing this task was a major coup. It cemented his reputation for trustworthiness, demonstrated his ability to bridge religious divides, and earned him significant favor with the ruling powers. Amidst these demanding public duties, Umar's intellectual fires never dimmed. His camp became a place not just of admiration, administration, but of learning. He encountered and welcomed a traveling monk, a man clearly of different faith, possibly Coptic Christianity, and perhaps even a different ethnicity and complexion. In an era often mocked by religious and racial intolerance, Umar engaged him in dialogue, picturing them debating theology, the nature of God, the role of prophets, the path to salvation. Perhaps they discussed philosophy, ethics, and the governance of diverse peoples. Umar's capacity for intellectual curiosity and tolerance, a willingness to learn even from those outside of his own traditions. Shortly after this exchange, confirmation arrived. The alms quest has succeeded, further boosting his standing. Practicalities, however, always intruded. Influence required manpower and infrastructure. Umar returned to the town square, seeking highly valuable recruits to bolster his retinue and capabilities. The outcome was likely mixed. Attracting top talent is never easy, and we continued to invest in his camp, improving its defenses, organizations, and amenities. He also took on and completed an arbitration quest, mediating a complex dispute between local parties, further demonstrating his wisdom and solidifying his role as a figure of justice and authority. Yet success remained elusive in some areas. An attempt to train local commanders to impart tactical knowledge or discipline failed. Perhaps his methods were ill-suited. Perhaps the commanders were resistant. Or maybe Umar simply lacked the specific skills of a military strainer. Setbacks were a constant reminder that even his considerable talents had limits. So Umar pivoted, returning to a proven strength, writing manuscripts. He undertook another commission, likely producing a work of scholarship, religious commentary, or perhaps a history. This proved quite successful, bringing in the needed resources and reinforcing his identity as a man of intellect and learning. He was adapting, learning to focus his energy where it yielded results. Finally, Umar turned to securing his legacy through stability, personal stability through marriage, a crucial strategic element in the medieval society. First, he married Alitash, the key detail. Although she was lowborn, possessing little social standing herself, the match incurred no negative prestige for Umar. It was highly unusual and speaks volumes about Umar's own accumulated renowned diplomatic skills, or perhaps the unique circumstances surrounding Alitash herself. He gained a wife, a household manager, and a potential loyally a partner, without the customary social penalty, a shrewd move maximizing benefits while minimizing costs. But one wife, however strategically chosen, wasn't deemed sufficient for the complexities and dangers Umar perceived. His Ash'ari faith permitted polygyny, and Umar utilized it for security. He took a second wife, Nextikos, a woman bearing the chilling moniker the Depraved. Her reputation likely preceded her, perhaps known for ruthlessness, cunning, or a network of informants. Her role explicitly was to be Umar's right hand, his insurance policy. She was there to watch his back, to monitor the court intrigue, to keep an eye on potential rivals, and perhaps even on the lowborn, but potentially ambitious Alitash. Managing a household with 2 wives, especially one nicknamed the Depraved, will require constant vigilance and diplomatic skill from Umar. It was a pragmatic, potentially volatile arrangement, reflecting Umar's deep-seated awareness of the threats surrounding any man rising to prominence. Next he was his shield, his dagger in the shadows. From ambitious scholar to failed froster, desperate grave robber, paradoxical holy man, meticulous administrator, bridge-building diplomat, and resilient intellectual, Umar's path defies easy categorization. His journey through the landscape of Africa was driven by a potent mix of raw ambition, channeled by a sharp intellect sustained by his health, and profoundly complicated by his evolving Ashari faith. He stumbled, failed, and committed dark deeds, yet found ways to rise again, often through unexpected spiritual turns or pragmatic shifts. Failure did not break him, it reshaped him, paradoxically strengthening his convictions even as his actions remained morally ambiguous. His ongoing quest for influence, stability, and perhaps redemption stands as a compelling testament to the complex, often contradictory nature of forging a destiny in the turbulent, multifaceted world of the medieval era. And with that, I will catch you guys next time.